antlers, assumptions, and artillery. Still chewing on it? How do you eat something bigger than your head and somehow older than the very name of your people? Jacob asks, and Juby rolls his eyes. Don't dismiss this. It's a big issue. No, you're making it a big issue, Jubei argues. Come on, we're still on university grounds. Let me ask around. About what? Jacob asks. Come on. Jubei bids him, and Jacob shrugs and follows. He approaches a group of girls who are already giving them appreciative looks. He pulls out his communicator as if prepping it to do something. Excuse me, ladies, I was wondering if I could have a few moments of your time. If you two are willing to stick around, we have more than a few, one of the girls says, even as she throws a wink towards Jacob. Oh, leave him alone. He's shy, but we've been given an assignment to find out what the commonly agreed upon limits of pacifism and peaceful living are. So, are you willing to answer a couple of questions? Jubei asks, and there's some nodding. All right, let's start off with two opposites. Now, you girls ascribe to pacifist beliefs like most Shrikadalons, correct? Yes, we do, one of the girls says, and Jubei smiles. Fantastic. So as pacifists, if someone were to walk up, insult you, and then leave, what would happen? What would you do? Shrug it off? It's just someone being a jerk. So what? One of the girls answers. Really? Is that the answer from the whole group? Jubei asks, and there's nodding. So a big yes all around. Fantastic. Now let's say the extreme opposite. Say someone had done something absolutely horrible. Say torture is involved. From a pacifistic point of view, is the victim within their rights to fight back against their abuser? Of course. What about killing them? Yes, if someone's doing something completely evil to you and you have the power to stop it, then you're allowed to stop it. Okay, this is interesting. So let's stretch the area of allowed violence for a pacifist. Let's say the victim escapes their abuser. What if they were to come back later to save someone else? Jubei asks. Why not bring the police into this, or a military of some kind? Once you get away, surely you can post a bounty or something. There are even some organizations that will help raise funds for those kinds of bounties in less civilized societies. A terrible necessity, but a necessity where there's just not enough law enforcement. One of them answers, Mies, we're supposed to not tell people what the subject of our product is about. Another girl complains, well, you're the one that just gave it away. It could have been an innocent question from me. Mies protests, ladies, please calm down. I think we can all agree to forget the last 30 seconds, just to be polite. Jubei offers with a smile, and there's some laughter in agreement. Anyways, for the sake of the question, let us assume that our former victim has no outside help. They believe the police and other such organizations to be either corrupt or in the pocket of their tormentor. Furthermore, for the sake of clarity, no matter what happens, they cannot avoid killing their former tormentor, but killing them saves the next person who was about to be tortured. Is it moral from a pacifist viewpoint to return to the home of their tormentor for the express purpose of saving others from them, even though violence and death will follow? Yes, it is. I see. Now what if they went back for the purpose of revenge as well? Yes, they're saving someone, but they also want to kill the person that hurt them. Is it still a good thing? Jubei asks, and the girls whisper among themselves for a few moments. It's concerning, but, they're still trying to help people, right? Okay, let's make it a little darker then. What if our former victim went back only for revenge and more or less saves the next victim by accident? In all three scenarios, their tormentor is dead in a brutal fight, and their next victim is spared before they can be hurt. But is it still moral? No, it's not. It's wrong then. Even if something good came out of it, it was done for the wrong reasons. Really? No matter what was done to the former victim? I did say they were tortured, right? Jubei asks. Well, it's not an easy answer, you know. The big thing about pacifism isn't never defending yourself. And it's not about just running away no matter what happens. It's about not being the aggressor, about not seeking out pain and suffering. The victim in your circumstances, they were completely right to go back in order to save someone else. It was a little iffy when they were doing it as much for revenge, and it was just wrong when it was only for revenge. Even if something good came of it, in all three scenarios, the tormentor dies at the hands of their first victim, and the second is spared. The end results do not change with intent, Mice says, but end results do matter, right? If a surgeon saves someone's life with a successful operation, does it matter whether or not they held the patient in complete and total contempt or unending compassion? The life is saved either way, and in this scenario, no matter what our former victim intends, their tormentor lies dead and the next victim is spared. I mean, it's really hard to say. Would they have ever gone after the tormentor if they weren't hurt by them? No, Jubei answers. In this scenario, the tormentor was outright looking for a victim and found the first victim when they were in a bad place, let's say drunk, and went out of their way to hurt this person who then escapes and comes back later. The tormentor has a second victim at this point, and the first kills the tormentor and rescues the second victim. The only thing that changes is the intent of the first victim. Scenario 1, they're there to save the second victim, and the killing of the tormentor is required to do that. Scenario 2, they are there to both save the second victim and kill the tormentor. Scenario 3, they're there to kill the tormentor, and the rescue is a happy accident. Then in the first scenario, it's not immoral at all. In the second, it's questionable, and the first victim should be watched, and preferably sent to therapy. Third scenario, they need therapy because murder is just wrong, Mies says, and then Jacob walks up. And what would you say if a Schrecktalon was put through this? Jacob asks, and there's a pause before a look around. Feathers puff out, and the girls stop lounging around and quickly rush up. Jacob takes a step back, and they pause. Smooth move, Jubei remarks. So you have had to kill? Are you okay? What happened? Did you really save someone? What's going on? Really going on? The group asks all at once, and Jacob holds up his wings to quiet them down. I can't give full details due to a legal gag order. But very long story short, I was taken advantage of in a contract. This involved my being put in an improper healing coma to return me to a child. By my own perspective, I wasn't there long, but that's because they kept doing it to erase my own memories. I escaped because I was a big problem as a child, and then escaped after learning I was in danger. He had no reason to trust the local police, had only a child's understanding of anything, and knew there were many, many others in need of protection. So he learned to fight and went back when he was older to start working against them. It took years and he succeeded, but in order to finish the job, he had to sign up for a tour of duty with the Undaunted. Jubei finishes and the girls are very quiet. Are you all right? One of the girls asks. No, I haven't been all right for decades and the person who I was is gone. Whether that's a good thing or not, I have no idea. How can it be anything but a bad thing? I was drowning in debt and hopelessly addicted to schleppa. Schleppa? I heard it pronounced schleppa, Jubei notes. I pronounce it either way. It's an accent, Jacob replies. Isn't that stuff really sour? One of the girls asks. That's not the point. The point is I'm trying to figure out what I am from a Schrecktalon standpoint. I've fought, I've killed and promoted battle and war, but only after I was backed into a corner. But now that I'm out, I find the military life suits me very well. Does that make me a monster? There is no real answer for him. At least not at first. Do you like it? Yes, it feels good to fight, and I'm good at it. Getting better too, I've asked for extra training. He says, and a few of the girls take a step back. So, what's the verdict? Am I a big scary monster that stomps on everything the Schrecktalons believe in? Some of the girls says, and Jubei gives Jacob a disappointed look. You're more weirding them out than scaring them there, Jubei says, putting a hand on his shoulder. Captain Schrecktalon here is under orders to deal with his issues. As he has issues, I've been sent to help him with this. That's nice. Wait, sent? He has been messed with in such a way that he has lost all understanding and connection with Schrecktalon culture, to the point that he only knows he is of Schrecktalon ancestry, and he's here to try and get a bit back despite his understanding that he's basically a living embodiment of everything he understands the Schrecktalons to oppose, Jubei says. So, since you girls are so invested in our warbird here, why don't you take him under wing and show him around? We've gone to Professor Yukali for the historical context. Now is there a modern one for him? No pimping me out, tusk face. Can it bird brain? We work best when thrown in the deep end. Now get swimming into those waters or I'm going to dunk you. I'm positive you've murdered that metaphor, Jacob says, and Jubei shrugs. Maybe, but you've asked a random stranger, an expert in the field, and now a small gaggle of younger people on what they think. Have any of them driven you away, cast you out, or exiled you? Jubei asks. Wait, you thought we'd throw you out or something? One of the girls asks. Yes. Jacob just owns up to it. You really don't know anything about us, do you? No, nothing. We're not savages. We're a people. If someone needs help, you help them, one of the girls says, before grabbing onto Jacob's wing with hers. Come on. You need to see some of the things that makes being a Shriek-Talon beautiful. Have fun. Call me when you need a pickup, Jubei says and waves as the small crowd of girls drags the only partially resisting Jacob away. All right, that's my good deed done. Or is it my evil scheme for the day? Either way, this war boss is going to get to some zoggin' lootin'. And so, how'd it go? Jubei asks as he steps out of the air car. Jacob is looking very off balance with a package tucked under his left wing. It has a series of small catches along it for races that tend to carry things in talons or claws, like a Valrin in flight does. Surprisingly well, the longer I spend among the Shriek-Talon, the odder it feels. Odd? Yes, odd. They are very welcoming and eager to show me things like music and art. I don't know, every time I look things up about the Shriek-Talon, there's always another story of them refusing to service, harassing, or trying to get mercenaries or bounty hunters to quit their jobs. Or stories about how one force or another hits them and finds them an easy target because even their defense forces use nothing but non-lethal weapons. You got caught up in the spin cycles of the news. No one wants to talk about the Shriek-Talons that cause no problems and just get along well with everyone, or the ones that are accepting and open and compassionate to others. No, the real story is in the freak shows that throw massive shrieking fits and kick off riots because other people are not being peaceful enough and don't even realize the irony. Thank you for your sterling assessment of my people. Everyone does it. It's the bad news that gets publicized, Jubei says as Jacob gets into the air car. I wonder what they will say of that incident I was caught up in that ended with my recruitment and military gag order. They'll probably think that they're not only getting solid job security, but a raise in their immediate future. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or if I want to strangle someone about that.